My name is Tony Ortiz. I'm a chef and artist, and I live in Brooklyn, New York. When I first moved to New York, I started selling tamales. People fell in love with them. I created this entire series of tamal pop-ups called Maíz Maricón, and it was specifically centered around a queer Mexican presenting food that is ancestral. ¿Cuántos vamos a cortar?
Unos 12.
12? Holy. This recipe, YouTube wishes it had it. No, so this recipe has been in my family for like hundreds of years. Wait, so Paca said the oven's going to be ready, I think in an hour and a half? This is a recipe that in Mexico they would make for like baptisms and large events. And I feel like this sauce in particular is super special to my family because the base of the sauce, which is chile guajillos, cinnamon, cloves, and cumin, that is kind of like the base for a lot of the sauces and chiles that we use within our family. Más.
No, este es pimienta.
¿Cuál?
Esta de aquí es pimienta. Le vamos a poner clavo. El ajo es el que le da el sabor, el ajo y la cebolla.
Me encanta ajo.
Y la cebolla.
The food that I cook is masculine and feminine at the same time. When I'm in the kitchen with my grandmother, things that I am making, for me, they feel more soft, they feel more smooth, relaxed. I grew up in the kitchen with my aunts, like just gossiping and listening to them laugh. Then when I'm cooking with my grandfather, it's a little bit more intense. He's very strict, and I think I've had to learn how to like exist in those two spaces, feminine and masculine, as a queer person. And I think that I'm able to do that as well, like flawlessly within cooking, because I've had to do it my entire life here.
A ver, vamos a ver.
Vamos a ver, ¿qué tal? Un poco, ¿no está bien?
A ver, pruébalo. Está picoso.
Sí, pero está bueno. Yeah, it's so good. The clavo comes through. I love the clavo in the red chiles. The clavo and canela, I feel like is her signature, with like guajillo or red chile sauces. And that makes it, I think that makes it like so much more unique.
That's delicious.
You know?
That's the spice. I think it's the clavo.
I do food styling gigs. I private chef. I do a lot of pop-ups. And so I just had a dinner at the Beard House where I was able to kind of like curate an entire experience for people to kind of enjoy. And I think I'm starting to lean more into getting extremely like abstract and creative with cooking.
¿Está lleno? Yeah.
Do you want the rock up there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like the oven has definitely been an important part of me kind of figuring out my identity as a third generation Mexican American. And as a child, I would always just kind of like take it for granted. It was just like, oh, we're cooking 5 turkeys in that oven and it's just an outdoor oven. But as I got older and I was able to kind of like analyze the importance of it culturally, it's definitely helped me understand where I come from and the way that we cook where I come from.
¿Dónde los vamos a poner poniendo?
The experience within my grandmother's kitchen is one where you're just cooking by feeling. With my tias and my cousins in the kitchen, there's a lot of like powerful feminine energy going on for sure. And it's beautiful to see because, you know, you remember that women are the backbone of Mexican cuisine.
Ahí está ya.
Primero. The oven usually takes about 3 to 4 hours to be ready. So, I mean, the wood basically burns down into these beautiful embers. And then that's when the lamb goes in with the maguey. They always have me do a lot of the manual labor. And then my grandmother will come out, she'll direct everything. And my grandfather will just sit there and yell. And we get it done. Balance. My family has definitely learned to accept who I am because they also have this mentality of like changing with the times. They want to continue growing as well. At a certain point in my life, when I came out, I told them it's like, you either accept me or I'm gone. For me, when I made it a point to learn our cuisine and really like study our culture, I think that showed them just how connected I was to my family. I think that that had a lot to do with them also accepting me. You know, when I was a kid, my grandparents were able to move in ways that they can't now. And so as I get older, I'm watching them age, and I'm realizing how important it is for me to preserve all of these cultural traditions. I mean, my grandfather even tells me, he's like, when I die, you're gonna be doing this. So you need to watch me and you need to learn how to do this. And so that makes it a little bit more real. You know, my grandmother, she was raised thinking she had to be extremely like docile. You know, she made food because she had to make food. It literally wasn't because like she saw herself as an artist, a culinary artist or whatever. It's because she had to feed a man, right? She had to feed her husband. Knowing that my grandmother's recipes and that her history and that her knowledge and skill and craft is now being carried through me, it's being seen as art. She knows that. She's extremely excited and proud because she knows that that knowledge came from her. And so I think that that is what brings me the most joy.